Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Johnson, Luverne High School Principal, Luverne Public Schools. Just kind of trying to put together a little video here for all parents and even for students too, just to kind of look at how our distance learning plan is going to possibly be rolled out and what some of the expectations are going to be, how to connect, how to interact, things like that. So I know there's a lot of questions out there. We've been working through a lot of different stuff here as a staff, trying to figure out how to shift what we normally do into this distance learning kind of model here. So I'm going to kind of take you through some things here to kind of hopefully kind of generate a little bit of an understanding of where we're kind of taking things and heading. So for some of you, you are well acquainted with how to get on the internet and how to log in, but for others, I just kind of go over some of the basic types of things. So one of the basic things that we are going to be utilizing to ensure instruction is Google. So if you go to Google, if you could just go to any kind of browser, particularly Chrome is the best one, but if you go to a browser and you log on, so students would get on, they would sign into their Google account. In this case, mine is already kind of uploaded, so but I would put that in. I will still need to put my password in there. And it's going to pull up, and you have a couple different options. You got some apps over there, but you can also come over here and you got the little waffle grid that's going to be right here. I'm going to click this open. Students will also have here, right in this area, they will have a Gmail link that's right there as well. But if I open this up, these are going to be some of the apps that we're going to be able to use. So Google is a great resource for schools as well as for students and even people at home too. There's a whole bunch of free apps that are right in there that you can utilize that are very excellent and worthwhile. One of the major apps is going to be Google Drive. So if I click on the Google Drive, what's going to kind of pull up is kind of your own hard drive, if you want to say, where you have various things that you can kind of click from. You have folders that you have created. If you go up here to new, you can create new folders. You can upload files into your Google account, whether it be PDFs or Word documents or things like that. Over here, you got Google Docs, you got Google Sheets, so you can kind of create different types of documents, whether a kid is going to be doing a spreadsheet on some kind of a science experiment, or maybe they're going to write a paper in English class. Those are the different places where they can kind of go right there. And then they can organize what's being done. A lot of the documents get shared with teachers as well as with others. And so that's kind of the nature of how that works out. I'm going to go back here to the waffle grid here. One of the other items that's going to be very critical for students, all students 6 through 12 in particular, even some of the elementary students too, is going to Google Classroom. Obviously, our classroom has changed from brick and mortar, desks sitting down, a teacher right in front of you, into the virtual realm. And so it's going to be our classrooms that we have. And these are going to be the classrooms that are going to be set up. Now, I happen to be set up with lots and lots of classrooms right here just because of the teachers that have shared those classrooms with me. Your son or daughter is going to have their own array of classes, usually probably around 6, 7, maybe 8 classes that are going to be in there. So they will kind of go to their class. So if I go here to English 10B, if I open up this class, you're going to see right away at the very beginning, you're going to see these are some of the different threads and the streams that the teacher has made. In this case, Mr. Stearns has made this. So he's kind of created an assignment thing right here. You can also just click on some of the links that are also in there. He's generated a video for his students to be able to watch, explaining some of the stuff right there. There's also going to be classwork. So if a student clicks on the classwork, once teachers kind of start posting starting next week, this is going to kind of start to fill up. So they can kind of click onto here and you're going to see there's a Google Doc that's right there that they can kind of pull down and search. And if there's instructions that are on there for classwork, they can kind of do this. Also in this platform too, this is where if students are doing work, they're going to upload those things into the Google Drive account that they have. In the Google Classroom, and then teachers will be able to see their work that they've done. It might be taking a picture of something, it might be a document that they created, or a paper that they wrote, some sort of a response back, but this is where all this is going to kind of take place. These are major things. These are the other kids that would be in the class there as well. But again, kind of going back and forth, this is where that is. Now, if I go back to this area right here, you'll also see too on this side, you can also select those classes that you have. If a student, if your child is not enrolled in a class that he has, so maybe he has math and he is not in that, this is where you go to join the class. So you click right here, join the class, and then you'd enter a code in right in this particular area. Now, teachers will have to give you that code, so you'll have to be able to kind of get that possibly through an email account, something like that, that they will have. One of the questions that's kind of come up, and we're still trying to work through all the specifics of how this all works out, but I know a lot of parents have asked the question of, can they get access to this account? They will not be able to get access as a student in there, so they can't see exactly what the student gets in there, but they will, if they wish to get access, which would be getting and receiving emails. So backing up to anytime if Mr. Stearns is right here and he posts something, that's going to generate an email that's going to be sent to the student. If you wish to, you can be added as a guardian. You will need to notify one of the teachers. Actually, if you just notify one of them, and if they put your information in, the students or your child's, all of their classes then will be updated with that. So you'll be receiving any email of any posting that the teacher is making. So in some situations, you want to be mindful of that because you might be getting a lot of emails potentially, and so kind of keeping some of those things in mind. But I understand too the need and the possible desire to be able to stay on top of things for your student and help them kind of organize some of that. But again, we're kind of working out some of those things again, so please be patient with us on that. But again, if you wish to, as a parent, contact one of the teachers that your child is in, and that should be able to get updated, and you'll be able to receive some of those emails. I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to show it. So we kind of talked a little bit about online connection. That was the Google Classroom right there. I want to talk to you a little bit about attendance as well. So I'm going to go back to the classes. One of the things that your child is going to have, and this is in the middle school, high school, is your child is going to be assigned an advisory. Now, this is the same advisory that they have had kind of throughout the year or just the semester in particular. But they will click onto the advisory. Every morning by 8:30, there's going to be a posting by that teacher. So in this case, I am my teacher, and it's going to say Monday attendance. On here, you're going to click the form. The student will click the form. That form will pop up, and there will be a series of just short questions, 5 to 6 questions that will be kind of in there. They will answer these basic questions. Each day is going to be a little bit different, and they will need to submit this. Okay, once they submit this, we would like them actually to have this submitted by 3:30 in the afternoon, because then teachers will take attendance. Should they submit it after, we will still be taking attendance. If they submit it and actually up till 11:59 p.m., that will still count as the day. And so basically they will be coded as they were present for the day or they were absent for the day is how it's going to go. It's not necessarily any partial as it relates to that. Teachers will, all that attendance should be updated by the morning. That will be in Infinite Campus that will be updated. So that's, again, one of the things that your child will be doing every single day. Will be taking this attendance, and that will be uploaded or that will be recorded with their advisory teacher. Their advisory teacher will code that in Infinite Campus, and then the rest of that will be coded. And again, it's you're there or you're not there for that whole day. So that's the attendance piece. Teleconferencing. This is going to be one of the main things that we're also going to be looking at as far as it relates to how to connect with your teachers. Possible classroom instruction that's maybe kind of given, or it might be more of a one-on-one. I need to ask some questions. I want to be able to log in and have that. There's 2 platforms, as you will see. There's Zoom and there's Google Hangout or Meet. And so the Google one, if I go right here to the waffle grid here that we have, you're going to notice there's Hangouts and there's Meets, and both of those are kind of more of a video conferencing kind of platform. So if you just click onto that, that will pop up. You can start or join a meeting. If there's something that's scheduled, you can do that. It's pretty quick and easy. You're able to kind of get into that. One of the things I would really encourage you guys at home to do, maybe even this weekend, is if you can even connect with your child. If you have your own Google account, or if you use another child's Google account or something, you can possibly look at how do how do you communicate and interact in this particular format? And you can use, again, that Google Meet or the Google Hangout. The other one is going to be Zoom. Now, for those that maybe haven't done Zoom, if I do a Google search, I click onto Zoom, it pulls up, it says for me to sign in. So I will be signing in. I will be using my Google account to sign in. That'll pop up. You'll see that's going to be right there. Now, if I want to schedule a meeting or join a meeting, I would need to have this Zoom as an extension that's downloaded. You can go down here. You can see you can download it as an extension because that will need to get popped up. And sometimes it'll pop up here in this particular area right there. So if I want to start a meeting in particular with video on, it's going to pop up. This extension will need to be uploaded or downloaded into your computer, and then this will need to be clicked and loaded as it's launching here. And then this is how this works, and you'll see it once again. And you have a video conferencing that's kind of right there. You can invite people through that, but most likely what's going to probably happen is your child's teacher is going to have a link to hook up to this. They'll click on that link, and then this will pop up, and then they'll be able to enter into a chat with that teacher. And it might be a larger group chat. It might be a whole school. It might be a whole class that's kind of in there. Okay, so those are kind of the two things, the two connection points that I would say that your child is going to need to know. And then I also want to kind of highlight as well our district website. So if you go to our district website right here, this is the main page right here. If you go scroll down, you're going to see we've had some COVID information kind of all along the way, but we also have a distance learning website. So if I click on the distance learning, there's actually, unfortunately, we had to, because of the structure, we had to have 2 clicks. We had to click right there as well on that here. And then it loads us up here into our distance learning website that we have. Now, notice up on the top, there's many different links that are up here for you to be able to utilize. Okay, one of the things, if you're just looking for an overall read of, again, our overall plan, you can go to this link right here, and you can see our 8-page document, read through that, and you can see some of the various information and important facts that are going to be needed for the distance learning during the time frame that we are going to be doing that. The other thing you'll see is that there's elementary, there's middle school, and there's high school. So if I go to elementary, this is going to have it broken down by grade levels. So if I go to the 4th grade, you're going to notice right here, here are some of the teachers that are in the 4th grade, some information that they kind of gave. They have even a weekly link they can kind of open up right there, and that will have a Google document here that will have some information about the week and the different activities that they will need and be expected to be doing. If I go back to now, if I go to the middle school right here, you'll notice 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they're broken up by grade level. So if I go to 7th grade right here, I'll click, and again, some more information, how to connect with some of those teachers. And again, they also have a weekly outline too, as well, of some of the various activities to be working on kind of throughout the day. For the high school, we have this broken down based upon department. Okay, so we have all the various departments that are right here. So if I'm going right here, if I have 9th grade English with Mrs. Fettis, I can pull this up, and this just has some information right here. Again, how to connect, some other expectations, where to find things, Google Classroom, things like that. And again, you can kind of go through any of these teachers. If I have Mrs. Baker for Core 2, that would be another one that, again, you can kind of click on. You can find that information right there. Parent info, there's some really good stuff that's kind of in there, some basic guidelines, some tips, organizational types of things. We'll have some frequently asked questions, and this will probably be continuing to be added to. Student info is going to be kind of something similar too as well, looking at how do you structure your time, going through frequently asked questions. Tech info, if I go through here, these are some things, what are some of the technology that we're going to be utilizing? So if my child has a Google account, they're not able to get on, here's some information right here on how to be able to possibly log in, get on. What does their username look like? If they've lost or they can't get their password, you will need to call us here or contact us, and we'll have to get that reset for them. There's stuff on Google Classroom. There's a Zoom link on how to be able to utilize Zoom and download that. And here are some of the other different types of online resources too that we also use. And again, you also see elementary and middle school too being added there. Here's some information here on special education, kind of going through that. Again, just kind of an overview of that, as well as just there's a teacher kind of toolkit here as well. This is a really good source right here. In the elementary, they're using Seesaw. Here's some video tutorials. If you want to use that, you can put that kind of information, or sorry, you can link that information and check that out. There's going to be Google Hangout. There's some information there. Google Docs and some more information right there. So that's kind of our distance learning that we have right there, and something for you to hopefully be able to utilize. And if you need some more information, this is a great spot to be able to kind of go to and get. I'm going to kind of move on here and just kind of talk, just to kind of finish up here, a little bit of some of the expectations. For a week and a half now, our staff has been working very, very, very hard. And again, as I said before, we're taking what we know of education and what we got into, which is these face-to-face, these interactions that we have, and now trying to put this into the virtual world and make it into distance learning. It's very difficult. There's been a lot of effort and a lot of collaboration. So I'm very proud of our teachers and what they've done. We ask that you just be patient with us as we go through, because this is going to be a whole learning experience for all of us, and we're excited about it. We are going to do our best. We're very committed and dedicated to really making the best effort that we possibly can for your child to still continue to kind of keep learning. But there's going to be a lot of hiccups along the way. And again, we just ask that you guys just really be patient with us. Communicate with us. First, communicate with the teacher. If there are struggles, you're trying to figure things out, email, try to set up a Google Hangout with them or a Zoom with them. You can even phone call in some situations. Obviously, with the stay-at-home rules that we kind of have in place, there's going to be a lot of teachers going to be working from home, though. So there will be some stuff like that. Some teachers do have some Google Voice that's also set up, though, so you can also do that. Just as far as instruction kind of goes, though, just so you kind of understand what our students are going to be expected to do in this next month of April is going to be less than what is normal. There's just no way around it. To be able to produce the same amount of content and go through the same amount of information and the rigor that is there is just it is just going to be less. And again, we wish that wasn't the case, but we're kind of in this predicament, and we're going to try to make the most of it. And so it's going to be a real difficult task, but again, our teachers have kind of scaled down what some of the expectations are with that. So it isn't going to look and the same expectations that we have when they come here to school is not going to be the case in this distance learning. So I just want to kind of know that. As far as the schedule goes, there's been a lot of people asking a little bit about that. We aren't necessarily going to give out a specific schedule, a guideline of at 8:30 they need to be logged into their first hour class. There's going to be a lot of challenges with technology, connecting. There's going to be a lot of different things like that. So from the structures of things, it isn't necessarily going to look like a normal day from that end of things. However, with that being said, we are still very much encouraging our kids to get up by 7:30, get a good breakfast in, and by 8:30 sit down and start working on their classes. We still would like the normal day to be from an 8:30 to a 3:30 time frame. There's probably a good chance that's going to be shortened. During that time too, I would encourage kids to take breaks. I would also tell kids to start with the classes that you first really like. So if you really like math and you're really into that, get into math and start doing that. Or if you're really into English, get into English and start doing that one first. Start the day off right and really kind of move through the day in that particular order. After maybe a couple of classes, as you kind of worked on some of those different activities and maybe readings and things like that, take a break. Go out, go for a walk, come back in refreshed, and sit down and start working on some more. There are going to be teachers that, again, they're going to be available during the day, during the school day, of looking at Zoom and Hangouts. So you'll be able to connect with them, shooting them an email, trying to figure out various things. And so really staying on top of those things. As parents, I would really encourage you guys to, well, number one, you are not the teacher. Okay, the teachers are the teacher. You're there to maybe help facilitate. You're there to maybe answer if there are some basic kind of questions. But let the students struggle through some of the stuff. Let them let them learn. That's how they learn, is when they do struggle through some of those things. If it is about connection and about communication, maybe you can kind of help out a little bit with that. But I want you to feel like this isn't about you learning. This is about you maybe just helping and facilitating. So utilize those strategies with there. I would say at the end of the day, do a show and tell, or talk about, what was the best thing? What did you learn the most? And so having those dialogues, I think, is going to be probably the most beneficial for the students. As far as communication goes, communication is probably going to be one of the most difficult things from this standpoint. There's probably going to be an amount of over communication as opposed to maybe under communication, even though sometimes you might feel it might be under communication. But there's going to be a lot of emails being sent, things like that. So email wise, you can expect you might be getting emails through Infinite Campus like we have continued to do all the way through this break. Google Classroom, anytime a teacher uploads or posts something, an email is going to be generated. And again, as parents, if you are logged, or if you are added as a guardian, you're going to get an email for that. You might be getting a direct email directly from the teacher. And again, students as well as parents potentially with that. Some of the teachers have a remind text that's there, so they can kind of communicate with students through a remind as well. And then, as I said too, there's also the teleconferencing with the Zoom and the Google Hangouts. Special education, other accommodations. This is going to be one of the greatest challenges probably of all. Looking at how do we help our students who are on IEPs and students who are on 504 plans. There are case managers, and they will be working. Once again, it's going to be a lot of communication probably, because they're going to be making some calls. They're going to be checking in with their kids. They're going to be looking at how they're doing in some of their various classes and ensuring that if they need some of that extra support and assistance, that they're going to be there. We're also going to be utilizing paraprofessionals too, to gather information from teachers, and again, even doing some Zooms and some teleconferencing with them, with the students, to again offer that assistance of that support that is needed. So we are very mindful of that. We are going to definitely be working on that. So those will be things that will also be in place. And again, there's going to be a lot of evolving that's going to take place as it relates to that. And lastly, I just want to mention too is that we also still have counselors, mental health, and nurses too, our nurse. So for counselors, Amy Cook is in the middle school, high school, Marie Atkinson Smines in the elementary. Our social worker, K-12, Stacy Scapel. Our dean of students too, Todd Oy in the high school, middle school, and then John Schumacher in the elementary. Our psychologist is Renee Guy, and then our nurse is Phil Paquette too. So please keep those in mind too, as you might be needing some of those resources, or your student is going to be, or your child, sorry, is going to be needing some of those resources as well. In the end, again, we are very excited for this opportunity. I'll be honest, we're very nervous too. There's a lot of anxiety on our part as well, but we really want and are committed to ensuring that your child is going to get the best education possible. We will continue to try to communicate with you. I know there's going to be gaps. I know there's going to be holes. I know there's going to be lots of questions. So be communicating also with us. Again, first probably start with the teachers if there are some specifics with that. But obviously also us as office staff too will be receiving phone calls, and we'll be doing Zooms and things like that as well too. So anyways, I hope that this month goes really well. I hope for all those out there with health-wise too, just that we're able to stay healthy as a community and support each other in that particular way. So thanks for all of your guys' support. We look forward to the future here still, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.